Imagine in the morning going for your morning coffee, take the mug, walk down to the beach, sit on a log, watch the water, watch the ferries, watch the seals.
Galiano is, I think, a very intense, educated, active community, and it adds for a lot of spice to life.
Walking to the beach, walking up the mountain for the scenery. The trails are a big part of people's lives here.
Galiano, a Gulf Island jewel that may change. There is a proposal for islanders to share their home with strangers. An extensive network of trails for walkers, cyclists, and even horses may be built to link all parts of the island. It is certainly a much favored environmental decision, but can all people share their space?
You know, it's a very politically divided island around development.
As soon as you draw a line on the map that's precise, people say, that's not where I would put it, right? I have a better plan.
Once complete, the trail network on Galiano will be the first of its kind in the Gulf Islands. Tourists will have as much access to the island as local residents. How will the island share paradise with the outside world? Will paradise be lost? Or will Galiano serve as an example of how other rural areas can open their communities up to tourism?
Now, half the economy of the island depends on tourism as opposed to resource extraction. So when tourists come here, they're not looking for a casino, they are looking for a nature walk.
Hordes come out of the ferry on Friday night. You watch them come out, you know, there's bicycles and push carts and cars, and we try to discourage people from despoiling the environment by littering and by lighting fires. A couple of years ago we had a big forest fire here, and so in the summer there's a complete ban on fires everywhere, even on the beach, right?
I've just been in some meetings with other Chamber of Commerces, and we're all in agreement that we want to have more or less impact tourism on our islands, like more walking, hiking, and that kind of tourism on the islands.
I think on the long run there will be an inter-island plan, and I think that could even fit into what I said earlier, where perhaps there'll be water taxis that pick people up between trailheads on each island and take them through.
Do we want to see a lot more people here? Well, certainly we don't want Galiano to become suburbia. We want it to be rural in character, but we want it to be able to accommodate visitors to a certain extent.
Most people are in favor of trails and beach access, but they're less comfortable when it may be in their neighborhood.
Living beside the beach access, there's nothing better than could have happened to us. We have a stack of Galiano Island maps, and we hand them out to people and say, no, check out the island, go to the bluffs. You may want to check out the Bodega Ridge. There's other beach accesses. So we figured out we'll be ambassadors for Galiano and promote the tourist attractions here. And it's been great. People are wonderful.
Moving forward, we will find a way to all work together, which is all we really want to do.
Trail bikes have a stronger impact on trails than shoes, and you can't really have a double use of these things for a number of reasons. First of all, because of the state of the trail itself, and then of traffic. People run into each other almost.
Mountain bikers traditionally, probably more than any other group, put in a lot more effort into trail maintenance. Like if you go, there's this huge project in Wales where there's a public trail system that's been a huge success. Mountain bikers have access to virtually everything, and they do the bulk of the trail maintenance.
Recent research coming out of, I believe, out of New Zealand university did a study on trail treadwear and compared hikers and bikers. And although they did produce different types of treadwear at different times of the year and in different places on the trails, the overall impact on well-built trails was about the same between hikers and the bikers.
One of the issues in life is whatever mode of transportation you happen to be using, you're usually a little frustrated by the people using the other mode around you. And if you're a pedestrian, you're frustrated by the cars. If you're in a car, you're frustrated by the pedestrian. So I think at some level we need to do something that is often mentioned in the Gulf Islands, and it's called the slow island, is to accept the fact that we will have to slow down. And if we're on bicycles, be more careful with pedestrians. And if people are on horses, be very careful, because obviously horses can be skittish at times, and learn to live together.
In Europe, it's taken for granted that there are walking trails everywhere and they can go right by somebody's farmhouse, etc., and that's accepted. That's always been that way. But here, we have people who say, private property. I own this piece of land and I'm going to put a fence around it, and nobody but my own personal guests, this is my personal use here, and no one else gets to use it. And I think we really need to work through that so that property can be private, but there is also a way in which it can be used for the greater good, if you will.
I love Bodega Ridge. I think it's an amazing trail. I mean, it puts you through terrain that you don't really see anywhere else. If you're dropped there, I always tell people when I hike up there with them, like, if you were dropped off in a helicopter and you weren't told where you were, you'd have no clue. Like, you wouldn't think this is Canada. You'd think maybe this is the Mediterranean, or maybe this is Mexico, or somewhere in California. It's really such a unique place.
Proposing to my wife on Bodega Ridge.
We want to build trails which will be there for us and for our visitors from elsewhere, and for our children and grandchildren.
When your world is full of gloom, a little piece of me shines through to help your spirit bloom. A little piece, a little, little. A little piece, a little, little. You'll see.